Hey everyone, today we'll be talking about how to create mods in Hytale. As you know, there's a modding contest by Hytale from March to the end of April that you can join for a chance to win $100,000. I'll add the link in the description. So before we get started, there are four main categories of mods. The first one is server plugins, which are used to modify gameplay systems. You can use them to build mini games, economies, custom logic, and commands. The second one is data assets, where you can edit blocks, items, NPCs, and world generation. For example, you can change a mob's health, its drop rates, its AI, or change how the world is generated. Third one is art assets, basically the look and feel of the game. You can change textures, models, sounds, and animations of anything already in the game. And the last one is save files. This one is more basic. It's kind of like you went into creative mode, build something, and now you want to share it so others can download it and use it. So you would make that kind of mod. You can also mix these mods together to build a full build mod pack like RL Craft or Skyblock or whatever. And for this video, I'll focus on the server plugins. I'll share how to set it up and the most common issues you'll run into when you try to start it. Let me know in the comments which mod type you'd like me to cover next. All right, so for server plugins, here's a list of requirements you need before getting started. The programming language used is Java, so if you know it, it's great. If not, you can still get by if you use AI coding agent. The next one is IntelliJ IDEA. This is actually the recommended code editor by Hytale, so I'll be using it. But you can use any other editor you prefer, like VS Code or Visual Studio. You also need Java 25 installed, which should already be there, but I wanted to mention it because it's a requirement. Next is the actual plugin template. This is the starting point for your server plugin mod, which we'll be using as reference. And lastly, you need to own the game to be able to run it separately. I have a creator code, Master Movement. Feel free to use it if you haven't got the game already. All right, so let's get started with the plugin. So after you have the plugin downloaded, there's a couple of ways to do it. You can do it manually through their link, which I'll show right here. So this is the link for the template. There's two ways to download it. The first one is the manual way. You would basically go here, click on this, and then you click on download zip, and this will basically download the whole file, and then you will extract it into a folder, and then that's kind of where your plugin is going to live, right? The second way, if you know how to use Git or GitHub, you can clone this repo. Also go here, it will give you this link. You would clone it using Git. But if you already know that, I don't need to tell you how to clone it. So this is just for the first part. Yeah, download it, extract it, and then that folder is where we'll be using our plugin. Once you have the plugin downloaded and extracted, you want to open it in the code editor. So this is the folder that I downloaded and extracted. You would just open that as the location for this plugin. You will have an initial page before this. You just have to choose where your project is, which would be that folder you just extracted. This is kind of what you will be starting with. There are a few things you have to do before being able to run it because it comes with a few placeholder text. So the first thing you want to do once you have your project open, you want to go to Gradle.properties, should be on the root folder, and you want to change this. This is basically the organization ID of the publisher. So if you work under a company or you have your own company, you would have like a unique publisher ID. Usually the standard is dot whatever that name is. So I'll just use my name, lowercase, like so. And the next thing you want to do here, everything else is kind of the same. If you want to update your versions, you put it here. But something that's really important here is if you changed where your game is installed, you're not using the default installation, you have to set it here or your game won't work. So I did that and it didn't work, so I have to set this to where I actually installed the game. So I actually installed it over here, and you just want to give it the base folder of where the game is, right? And this is important because if you don't have this, it won't build and it won't run, and you run into a bunch of errors. And this it's kind of hard to find elsewhere. Once you have that, just save this file, close it, and then the next file we're going to go to is the manifest.json, source main manifest.json. Open that. This is kind of where you would add all the metadata or all the information of the publisher here. So here you would add the author. You can add the author, your name. I'll just add my name. And you can also add your website if you have a website. The unique ID of your plugin would also be here. So this would go back to the Gradle. So what I had in here was master rooming. So I'll copy that, put it in here, and then this would be the name of this. So I'll just copy that, put it in here. So this is kind of what it would look like. Basically, your group, and then plugin, and then your first plugin. That's just kind of a standard. You can set this to whatever you want. Just make sure you know what it is, right? So that's all of this for this folder. The next part we have to go is you have to just check if you have the Java SDK set up. So what you want to go is you want to go up top left here. You want to go to your project structure. Make sure you're on the project tab, and then make sure you have your Java SDK selected here. Right? If you don't have it, then you can install it, download it. I'll have the link in the description. Download Java, and then you can select it from here. So this is really important because this is what you're going to use to build your plugin. All right, so once we have the Gradle properties and settings and manifest, and you try to build for the first time, there's actually a new error that comes up now. Basically what it's saying is that it couldn't find the server to download, and the fix is really easy. What you want to do is you want to go back to the Gradle properties, and you want to check this value right here. Basically, you just want to match the value here with the value you have in your launcher. So when I check back to this, it does not match. All I have to do is change it. Basically, the version you want to match this value. So I'm just going to copy it and basically paste it here. And once I have that saved, now it knows what version to fetch and it will build successfully. There you have it. Now, the next part, which we only have to do once, basically it's built, but it doesn't have a configuration to the server. Basically, you're not authorized to use the server. So this is the last step where we just have to write login. We have to auth login browser. Well, you can use a device or a browser. Basically, it's going to give you a link. You click on this link, it's going to pop up the browser, and then in that browser, you can log in basically with your account. Once you do that, authentication successful. Now, if we go back to the code editor, you will see that it was successful. Now, the last part we want to do here, it's telling you credentials are stored in memory only. They will be lost on restart. So what we want is we want to persist it basically. So we're just telling it to remember this device to save our login info, basically. So what you want to do is you want to write this and then encrypted. This will basically save your login info on this device. So next time you build, you won't have to log in again. So this is basically it. Now your plugin is actually running. The way to test it is we're going to open our game and connect to this server that's currently running. So if you notice up here, we're actually running a Hytale server, and we're going to connect to it locally through our game. So this is my game, and now I'm gonna join a server. If you don't find it in your local, you can direct connect, and this is the IP address for your local server that's currently running. So if I click on connect, now it's gonna actually connect to that plugin that we're running. All right, and we're in. So we're not actually going to do anything in here. We're going to go back to our plugin and see what is going on. So we actually didn't do anything. There is a template plugin in here, which should be able to run something very basic. It looks like it just logs, writes a log in the game. There's no commands. All right, so let me write an example plugin here that we can test in our game, and that way we're good to go. All right, so the last thing we want to do in this video is just have a working plugin. So the way it works is this plugin is just a command with a specific format that you can write. Once you write that command, the server will print out something for you, right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to create your own folder in here or package. And this is kind of the best practice. Basically, you're going to go here, click on new package. And this is where you would follow the same naming convention that you have. So com.png user or company, and then the name of the plugin, which is this one is called my first, so I'll call this my second plugin. And then in there, you would actually put the name of the plugin. So example, right? But this is another example, right? Basically, you're just splitting your concerns or splitting some better way to organize your code, basically. So the plugin is kind of like your manager, and then if you want different commands, they would be like in separate files. You could obviously have them all in one giant file, but that's not best practice. So I'm just gonna put another simple command in here. And basically this command part, it would look like this. It's very basic. It would basically tell the plugin that if the player writes this command, as you can see here, it says name. This is the name of the command. Then it has a little description, right? But that's not being used. And then it gives it like you can only use this command in adventure. It's kind of what it means. And then this is what happens when you execute the command. Basically, when it says here execute. So whenever the user calls this command, it will execute it. So what it does here is it just prints out from the server this message. So that's kind of the whole command. It's just a very basic one. And make sure that the name you have here in your main points to where your plugin lives. So basically, plugin that I want my mod to run is this one, and this matches exactly the structure that we have in here. So then the plugin itself has to register this command, kind of tell the server, okay, we're going to use this command, we're going to register it so that the players can use it, right? So what it does is when the plugin starts, just going to add a log in here, and then this is the part where it registers the command. Basically, this is the format, it registers it, and then this is the name or the reference to this file, basically called simple command. So it references it here. That's kind of it. And then when it server shuts down, it just prints that it's stopping. So it's very basic. You can see it. We'll show how it works in a second. I'm in my game right now, and the command was plugin. Once I write that, it just prints out this message. So just click on enter, write my plugin, enter, and it prints that out. So if I want to change that, I'll change it right now. Let's call the command hello, and then it's just gonna write my name back, right? I'm gonna do that, and then all I have to do to rerun, basically it's gonna rebuild the server with the new plugin we have. Right now the server's gone. I write hello, prints out that message that we just defined. And that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments which mod type I should cover next, and peace.